Fe. 7 News traffic reporter Jayson Luber's on the scene. And Jason, you've been looking into how this all began.
Yeah, Mike, it happened just before 2 o'clock this afternoon when a couple was going westbound on Hamden here from Eladi, driving with traffic in that left lane. All of a sudden, for whatever reason, lost control, went across all lanes of traffic here, hit the curb, went up against these bushes and hit this tree. That's when the vehicle became airborne. At that point, you can see this gouge right here in the road. The car hit that, hit this curb, sending it back up into the air over 2 parked cars that were sitting right where those empty spaces are, landing on its roof right there. Now, the 2 elderly people that were inside died shortly after impact. We saw several cases of beer and a full bottle of whiskey on the ground. Now, police are saying it is much too early to say if alcohol or drugs were any kind of a factor in this crash. Taryn Moyer and Christina Gimbel, they were just walking out of the Noodles restaurant here and were heading for their car when it was parked right where the accident happened.
I heard the, like, I don't know, it was a loud, like, and then I turn around and all of a sudden this car is just like in the air and it's coming down and flipped. I mean, it landed upside down.
Taryn said if they left that restaurant even 1 or 2 minutes earlier, they could have been hit by that car. Now, traffic is back to normal over here. All that's left is some of the debris from that car. You can still see the headlight here, one of the lights here, and a mirror over there that's just left. Unfortunately, those two people did die in this crash this afternoon. Reporting live in Inglewood, Jayson Luber, 7 News.
Jason, thank you.
Impacting traffic for Saturday's Broncos game. 7 News traffic reporter Jayson Luber is looking into the way this was all scheduled and why. Jason, CDOT's telling you they really had no choice.
Yeah, basically, Teresa, their hands are tied. This here is the problem bridge, northbound I-25 over top of Santa Fe. It's one of the top 10 worst rated bridges in the entire state. Now, just take a look at the side of it here. Look at the deterioration just on the side. The underneath is even worse. There's big plywood boards in place as a temporary patch. Now, look down here. This is all the equipment that's ready to go for this weekend's work, including all that new rebar that will be put in place to shore up this bridge. CDOT understands, yeah, this project is going to be a huge traffic headache, especially with that Saturday night Broncos game, and they say this weekend is the best time to get it done. Why can't it be done on weekend nights? Why can't it be done on a couple of evenings where it's not going to impact traffic as much?
Well, we need a continuous time frame to get the work done. We can't just set up and tear down every night, or we would have people driving on a horrible surface that wouldn't function with traffic. We can't do it during the week. Traffic's heavier during the week. We have to do it on the weekend, and unfortunately there wasn't a good time. Any time you do work on I-25 is a bad time. We're trying to choose the time that's going to have the least impact to people.
Now, when the lanes are closed starting tonight, we're going to see backups in both directions, northbound I-25 and northbound Santa Fe. Good alternate routes will be either northbound 225 around to I-70 back into the city, or even C-470 to the west to 6th Avenue and bring that back into the city. And obviously the side streets like Federal, Sheridan, Wadsworth are also going to be a good way to go. This again for northbound I-25 drivers only. Teresa, southbound will be unaffected. Again, the work starts again at 8 o'clock tonight all the way through 5 a.m. on Monday morning. It's going to be a real big problem.
I can just hear all the people at home going, come on.
I know. I'm going to get a flood of emails.
I know you are. Oh, Jason. Well, thanks so much for helping us navigate it.
Jayson Luber has one of the most fun jobs in our shop. He gets to go out to CDOT, and he says that it's pretty exciting out there, right?
Very exciting. And I'll tell you, this morning between 6 and 7 out here, it was a madhouse. It has also been a fairly madhouse the last couple of hours just because the temperatures have dropped significantly. This afternoon we saw mostly wet conditions because the temperatures were right around 30 degrees, but now with those temperatures dropping in the lower 20s now, that's why we're seeing the snow stick to most of the roadways. As Bob was talking about down in the Castle Rock area, they're doing okay, but trying to get out of the Castle Rock area, this is I-25. This is we're looking to the south along Surrey Ridge. This is the northbound traffic coming up from the Castle Rock area trying to get to the Denver Tech Center, and it's stop and go because we have some very slick conditions trying to get up and into the Denver Tech Center area. They're monitoring the forecast here. They can see the radar that they continue to monitor this, so they know that they're going to see some problems out to the Eastern Plains later on, so they're monitoring that. And as we look at some of the other traffic, like 6th Avenue, that's pretty tough. I-70, we've had some very tough drives on I-70 out to the east side of town, including numerous accidents out there. We've had several accidents on the highways here this afternoon, about a dozen plus accidents off the highways, so it is going to be a tough drive for us here, unfortunately, as there's also a lot of standing water in some of these areas, especially on the side streets. This is one of the tough spots here through the Denver Tech Center. As we can see, I-25 in the Orchard area. This traffic is traffic heading north towards downtown. Somebody's pulled off here, and we also have somebody that was conked out in the southbound lane. So the Courtesy Patrol tow truck guys, those guys that you see in those red tow trucks, says Mile High Courtesy Patrol, they're actually a service of CDOT. And they go out and they do it's a free service. They'll tow cars right off the road. They'll clean up accidents if they can and protect the scenes there, and also give somebody gas if they really need it. So they're out working very tough. Those calls are coming in extremely fast for a lot of people that are flat tires, broken down cars, or all these accidents that we've seen out here on the afternoon rush. So it could be another tough couple of hours, unfortunately, guys, for the evening rush hour drivers.
Definitely. And could you do us a favor and widen out that shot so that we can see the view that you have? Ask your photographer to do so, because how many cameras are you able to look at while you're in that CDOT center?
We have 8. There are actually 12 of these screens. There are 12 of these screens all the way across, and they can configure them. They can have them in squares like this, or they can configure them into bigger squares and see bigger activity. But they like to have all these 12 monitors here available, and they're doing different things. This is the I-70. It's kind of a tour looking along I-70 all the way from one side of the state to the other. It just kind of keeps traveling. You see right now we're looking at I-70 going now towards Silverthorne. This one's showing 6th Avenue, just 6th Avenue from I-25 all the way out to I-70, and it just loops so they can get a good idea from what's happening around the city and around the state, so they know where to send crews and where the conditions are changing on a minute-by-minute basis.
From your enthusiasm and your knowledge, I believe that if you ever build an amusement park, it'll look just like that. It'll be Luberland, and you'll have screens everywhere, traffic everywhere.
I am charging for admission there, Mike, so if you want to be the first to buy the ticket,
okay, good enough.
I'll be glad to take your cash.
Thanks, buddy. See ya.
Thanks for the view.
Well, 7 News traffic reporter Jayson Luber is joining us now. Convenient or not, Jason, it's against the law, right?
That's right, Mike. Whether you're going to be running back into the house or just running over here to the store, it's easy to be a pupper. All I have to do is pull up here, just get out of my car like this, leave it running while I run into the store. But police say the real danger could be just lurking around the corner, where a thief could be waiting for me to do just this exact thing, then jump in my car and take off. Colorado state law requires that all vehicles should be turned off if left unattended for any period of time. Police are teaming up again with the Colorado Auto Theft Investigators Group in trying to educate the public that leaving their vehicle on unattended is a good way to get it stolen. Now, a special crackdown will start on Monday, as police in many cities and counties around the state will be on the patrol in Puffer Week 2009. The fine varies from place to place. Here in Denver, it's $25 if you're caught. Over in Aurora, it's $75 if you get caught there. Reporting live in Denver, Jayson Luber, 7 News.
Now, Jason, we all rationalize, gee, I locked the car, so it's probably okay, right, if you have a remote control or something. How often are cars stolen because of puffing?
Well, unfortunately, Colorado doesn't track those laws, but they do say that about half of all vehicle thefts are a result of people leaving their keys in their car. Aurora does track it, and they say about 24 cars a month are stolen in Aurora during the months of December, January, and February, all during the coldest months of the year.
Gosh, that's a nice Christmas present for somebody. Just leave the car running and just take off with it. Jason, thanks very much.
And that's not the only trouble spot this evening. 7 News traffic reporter Jayson Luber is live down south near I-25 and C-470. How's the commute looking there, Jason?
Pretty heavy, Teresa. Very typical heavy stuff all around Metro Denver. Starting to see a little bit more of the snow now. It was tapering off for the last half an hour or so. According to the 24/7 weather thermometer, we're about 38 degrees. It's dropped in the last about 4 degrees in the last few minutes. We can see here, this is southbound I-25 as folks are coming out of Tech Center and heading south down towards the Castle Rock area, and that's where we're really seeing a lot of snow, as you can see from our CDOT cameras as well. A lot of snow down there in the Greenland area, which is going to be south of Castle Rock, right before Monument Hill, making it wet and slushy conditions there. I-70 and C-470 out to the west. We've also seen the snow and the slushy conditions getting up into the foothills there and up in the Vail Pass, as you were talking about. Both east and westbound I-70 closed down there between Copper Mountain and Vail because the adverse driving conditions and all those accidents we were just talking about. We can also see some decent driving conditions like I-25 at Hamden, basically dry at that point, and points to the north, we're seeing also dry conditions. The Boulder Turnpike is a little bit more wet, though. Just seeing a few accidents here and there, but otherwise, Teresa, I think the worst of it's going to be down to the south and up to the west.
7 News traffic reporter Jayson Luber is joining us live from CDOT's Plow Central at 36th and Park Avenue West. Jason, CDOT is saying that plowing is much more effective in spring storms than de-icers.
That's right, Mike. Yeah, they say that they will still have this solid de-icer, this rock salt on board just in case some of the areas do get a little bit too icy. But they say for these spring storms, for CDOT, it's really all about that snow blade carving into the street and plowing all that snow right off the road. Now, CDOT says their computer models are predicting 3 inches of snow to accumulate on the roads by Saturday, but that's just a guess for them at this point. They say the warm weather the past few weeks and especially the past few days will help melt the early snowfall, but it's tough to predict for them exactly how much of the snow will be sticking to the roads.
So typically in these spring storms, we just see wet and slushy conditions with a little bit of buildup. It may get colder in the evening and start to be a little bit slick, but these types of storms don't take as long to clear. It's just all about plowing.
Now, those 78 plows that will be dispatched across Metro Denver will be out starting at 9 o'clock tonight for their snow shifts and stay out until all the roads are completely clear and dry. As for tomorrow morning's commute, it could be twice as long as normal, maybe even 3 times as long to get around town, and expect the morning commute to last much later than normal as well. I'll be on the air starting at 5 o'clock tomorrow morning with all the latest road conditions and how tough it could be to get around town tomorrow. Reporting live at CDOT's Plow Central, Jayson Luber, 7 News.
Thank you, Jason. While CDOT and cities
just before 2 o'clock this afternoon, when a couple was going westbound on Hamden here from Eladdie, driving with traffic in that left lane, all of a sudden, for whatever reason, lost control, went across all lanes of traffic here, hit the curb, went up against these bushes and hit this tree. That's when the vehicle became airborne. At that point, you can see this gouge right here in the road. The car hit that, hit this curb, sending it back up into the air, over 2 parked cars that were sitting right where those empty spaces are, landing on its roof right there.